Fawcett. Up next is Josh Vokey, plays the lovable and awesome Scott. And next on an awesome character who really came into his own in season 2, Kristian Bruun as Donnie. And you gotta love Ari, you gotta love the guy who plays him, Kevin Hanchard as Detective Orphan Black. Next up, lastly, an awesome actor who we first met as Mark on the show, but we're going to meet as a lot more people very soon. Please welcome Ari Millen! How cool is this? Ari Millen! Yeah, keep it going! Good sir. There you are. Thanks for coming to Toronto Comicon, guys. This is awesome. How's it going?
Pretty good. Pretty exciting.
Oh,
Is everyone big?
Yeah, this is a busy stage. There's a lot of us.
it's busy, eh? Oh, this is pretty cool. Okay, so we're going to open up to the floor to questions, so definitely get them ready. And I got a lot of questions for the actors, but I actually want to start with John Fawcett, because John, it was like 3 years ago, I did a panel with you and Graham Manson, co-creator of the show, before an episode had aired. I think you had just started shooting it, and it was fascinating to talk about, because I could tell from the premise and from obviously the pedigree that you two bring from other genre work you've done, that it was going to be a good show. But I mean, nobody knew about it at that point, and people were curious, and we were in a little room. Is it awesome and kind of shocking to know what it's become and the pandemonium that the show creates now?
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, really, it was like going from 0 to 100 really quickly. The show sort of gained momentum quite fast during season 1, and it's been this crazy trip that we've been on ever since. And we've all kind of shared in that, and it's been really an amazing experience. And I think we all just feel really fortunate and really excited to go to work every day,
Well, following up on that tone of switching from one thing to going to 100, Ari, I interviewed you on the set shooting season 2, and that's how I found out that you were going to be playing clones, and it was kind of a hush.
You knew in episode 6 already?
Well, when we first met on set, did you not even know at that point? Are you a writer? Do you write?
I didn't find out until 2 weeks before.
Really?
Yeah, conspiracy.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know. It was super hush-hush, though. That was the thing. It was like, so are you allowed to bring up the clone thing? And I was like, I don't, what? He's like, what? What? Oh, there were so many spoilers that day.
Yeah.
So what was that moment like for you when you realized that you would be portraying so many other characters?
I sat down, I tried to catch my breath, and I haven't caught it since.
I have to ask, did Tatiana Maslany give you any advice when it comes to playing all these different characters?
For me, Tat is such a wonderful and giving actor. What I would do when I found out we were shooting the clone dance party, so when I realized that I was going to have to do stuff like this, I went in and I just sort of watched her navigate the camera, navigate playing this character and then that character, and then went home and cried and had the whole summer to just sort of think about things, and it was pretty incredible. But yes, Tat, if and when I had a question, I would go to her and she would, give encouragement or say, no, try it this way, or something like that. Yeah.
Does season 3 start with an Ari Millen dance party?
Nobody wants to see me dance.
So, Kevin, I want to ask you about Art Bell. I mean, what a great character. I really love him. What were your thoughts on his arc in season 2? Because he's a guy that stuff happens around, but now he's in on it. What are your thoughts on where he went in season 2?
Well, I was really excited with what happened in season 2. I mean, it's always interesting playing a guy who doesn't really know what's going on and is sort of sticking to his job as a cop. But as the story unfolded and he became aware of the clone conspiracy and the fact that the sisters were out there, it was fun seeing him sort of become invested based on his relationship with Beth and his loyalties to her. So it's fun to be a rule guy, but to have that vein of emotional vulnerability and commitment in there was a lot of fun for me.
Does everybody else want to see more Helena art scenes?
Yeah!
A lot of food.
More food.
Those were a treat. Now, Kristian, I want to ask you about Donnie, because this is a character who has, I would say, come into his own maybe more than any other single character on the show. Go from being very put upon to kind of, ass-kicking in a way, and certainly owning it. What were your thoughts as you were reading the scripts for season 2 and acting them out and realizing this was a character that was going to change a huge amount?
Well, I didn't know that at the beginning of the season. I did know that I was a monitor and that was, all I had to go on. But just like Ari said, we really don't find out until we get that script before we, go in for that read-through for that script. So, and sometimes it's the night before. So I remember specifically episode 6 where Donnie really comes into his own. The writers had warned me like, oh yeah, episode 6 is going to be pretty crazy for Donnie. I'm like, okay, well, how crazy can it be?
Right,
Yeah, it's like, it won't be crazier than the glue gun, trapped through the chair. So that can't be beat. And I challenged them to beat that. I was like, you guys can't beat that. And so they're like, just wait for episode 6. That's how they all talk, by the way. Every writer. Yeah, you heard it. Brains like that. So I remember the script came in around like midnight, as they tend to get sent out at the last second. And I couldn't go to bed without reading it, so I sat in bed and I started reading it. And all of a sudden, all these crazy things are happening. Donnie's in rehab with his wife, and all of a sudden he's playing Allison, and all of a sudden Allison is playing Donnie, but it's not Allison, it's Sarah playing Allison playing Donnie, which is like just mind-blowing. And then all of a sudden, Donnie walks into the room and sees Sarah and Allison next to each other, and I was like, oh my God, they put me into the clone club. I'm now part of it. I know what's going on. They couldn't get any crazier than this. And then, Dr. Lee, he's getting all these threats, and he's got to make it out of town, and all of a sudden the car pulls up, and I'm like, oh boy, Paul is coming up off Dr. Lee. This is going to be crazy. And I'm reading, and the window goes down, and it's Donnie. And I'm like, why is Donnie there? Why does Donnie have a gun? And then the scene goes on, I'm like, oh my God, this is insane. And then he puts the gun down, I'm like, okay. That was really crazy, because I thought for a boom, and I'm like, I'm flipping out, I was jumping up and down on my bed, I was screaming expletives over and over again. And then I didn't sleep a wink that night, because I was like, I can't believe this is going to be filmed, this is going to happen, and it took me totally by surprise, and it's been a pleasure to watch Donnie just totally turn into a badass. Like everybody knows I am, so glad the writers saw that in me.
Kudos to them for
Yeah, totally recognizing my badassedness.
Yeah, there's a character in line for that kind of turn this season. I think it's got to be Scott. Josh, I haven't had the pleasure of talking to you previously. I've met everyone else from Orphan Black. We haven't heard from you. Is there an element of Scott that really drew you to the character? Or how do you relate to him? Because we're all here hoping that you're also geeky as the character is. Yeah, I'm a geeky myself, so please don't disappoint. Tell us you're geeky.
Yeah, I'm definitely geeky.
All right.
Like we said this before, and this is like a testament to why this kind of knowledge is useful. I never thought being a kid that knowing everything about Lord of the Rings would come in useful. I never thought taking apart computers would be useful, but it is. It really is. Yeah, I mean, playing Scott has been a real pleasure because, again, with him, we really get to kind of start from zero. Every human interaction that he has is a real struggle for him and really puts him outside of his comfort zone. And then when you factor in from where he starts and how we push the envelope, and John and Graham give me a lot to do to push that envelope every day to just kind of step outside the box a little bit more. It's really been a great pleasure to kind of find the comedy and the humanity in a person really trying to figure out how to just fit in as a normal human being.
Can't wait to see where Scott and where all the characters go in season 3. Would you guys like to see a little trailer for season 3, perhaps? And so guys, if we could ask you as well to refrain from taking photos or filming this. This is for you guys as a Toronto Comicon audience, so if you could please do us that solid and not shoot or tape this, we would really, really appreciate it. And without further ado, here's a little trailer for Orphan Black.
Like, is there anything surprising for you? Like, how much do you know about what's going on with the other characters? I guess at this point you know a lot.
The funny thing for me is that I try not to find out what's going on in the storylines that I'm not involved in.
Yeah.
Because it just makes it easier for me. It makes it easier for me at these conventions to not spoil things. And it's just easier as an actor to not know because, you know, as you read the scripts, as Kristian and Josh were saying, and Ari were saying, that you get them and you don't know what's happening next. So watching that trailer, there's a whole bunch of stuff on there that I have no idea what was going on. But it's great. It's great. It makes me realize that that you guys aren't all crazy. It's kind of exciting. You know what I mean? It really is exciting because I got goosebumps watching it myself.
It's a good job.
I will say this, when, just like, what's your name again? Biff, just like Biff was saying. When I read the script, I read it once, and then at the read-through, when we sit down with the cast and read it, that's the second time I hear it, and then I forget it. I never touch those scenes again, and I only focus on my scenes, because I don't want to ruin it. And so many times, a lot changes between that read-through and then the time we actually get on set and shoot things. There have been times when I've been in makeup, and they're like, here's some new lines for the scene you're about to do. I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. And so, you know, things get changed at the last minute. So there are totally new elements, and sometimes even new characters, and people cut or added that I'm not even going to know about when I get to watch the
There's
show.
so many different plot lines to
Yeah.
keep track of that it's almost impossible. So yeah, you're best just to stick with your own and then find out later to the fullest. Yeah.
The best are when the rewrites for the scenes that you're about to do come and the science scenes, so it's a lot of Latin words. It's like, oh, great, awesome. How do you say that? That's got 7 syllables. And holy go.
All right, well, let's go to the floor. Just throw your hand up, and well, that person stood right up.
Well, you stood up, you get question 1. Hello.
Hi.
You can try to project the question, but we'll repeat it for the folks.
I like the costume, by the way.
Thank you. I had the pleasure of meeting some of you in San Diego at the theater contest at the OB Tumblr meetup, so thank you very much. Glad to speak to you again. My question is, for a lot of the characters, the thing about Orphan Black is we don't know right off the bat who we can trust, and we don't. For some characters, we're going into season 3, we have some characters that have been around since the beginning, and we still don't know if we can trust them. Donnie. But my question is for everyone, and how that was for you from like the introduction to your character to now, or even for writing these characters, how that has been for that character arc versus other things that you've done in the past, or even with fan interactions, has that impacted that sort of like ambiguity, moral gray area to your characters? Thank you.
I never trust anything about anybody on this show at any time, because there are so many twists and turns, and they're teased out so well that yeah, you never know what you can expect coming up with it. Every single episode as well. It's not like, oh, okay, what's the big twist going to be at the end of the season? It's like every episode something comes around the corner. So I take it an episode at a time. And honey, why don't you trust me?
It's an interesting thing because as an actor, I mean, I trained in the theater, and when you work in the theater, you have a script that goes from A to Z, and you know exactly where your character is going.
A to Z.
I like to work in America as well. America. So you know exactly where your character is going. So instinctively you want to ask the writers and the creators, so what's happening here, what's going on, and you don't get the answers all the time. So the challenge becomes finding specificity in the moments that you play without betraying or painting yourself into a corner. And that was a big thing in season 1 when I would ask John and Graham or get direction during scene shooting. They say, hey, you know, make him a little more sensitive here. Make him a little prettier here. You know, make him a little more hand. And I said, no problem, I can do all that. I did all that. Remember I did all that? But anyway, that's the challenge. That is the challenge, is to find the specificity in your character and to give him stakes without giving the writers the ability to change it and put things in a way that'll be more exciting down the line.
Ari, can I follow up on that? I mean, we know that you're going to bring us some new characters this year, and of course last year, at the end of the show, we were introduced to the second clone. Sorry, spoilers for all those who didn't watch, and if you didn't watch, what's wrong with you? But I'm going to ask you kind of a spoilery question now. Are we going to be trusting any of the clones that you bring to the table? Because so far, even Mark, who showed that he's capable of doing some good things by the end of the season, was kind of ambiguous throughout. So are we going to like any of your clones? I guess is the question.
Well, I hope so.
Or we like to hate them?
Even better. I still can't remember that you knew that Mark was going to be.
When did you officially find out then?
Probably, like a week or two before we started filming the finale.
Oh my god.
If you flip a table, he'll get over real quick.
I can start with Mark. I mean, I guess I'm thankful that I didn't know, because Mark started off in the diner as a completely different guy of who he ended up throughout the season, but I wasn't playing the end that he was a clone, so the fact that I found out he was a clone at the end of the season introduced a whole new element that I got to explore this year, which was really fun. And then getting to learn and interact with myself and the caster boys, learn so much more about him. And yeah, he's still going to be ambiguous the entire season through. I guess Rudy would be the next one, who's getting sort of most of the attention with the scar and the mohawk. Man, he's fun.
Rudy.
Okay. He's a real outlet for an extroverted person that I am not, and I got a lot of I don't know. I got to explore a side of myself that isn't normally me. So, but at the same time, it's always important for me to find that other side and to find the sensitivity and the craziness. And thankfully, without spoiling too much, there is a character that I get to interact with in this season that brings out the boy in him. And then Miller, the military man. I don't know. They're all sort of different parts of my personality, I guess. And so I got to play this. We started with. The challenge was, because these guys are all brothers, they're all self-aware. Finding the small little differences within the familiarity. And so we started with him having an amputee, having a fake leg, because he lost it in a mission. So from there he kind of got sent home and almost like a house cat now. He can't, because he's well, normally you get in the military, you get hurt, you go back home. Well, they have no home. Their home is the military. So he goes back to base, and now he doesn't want pity, and it's all about being the best soldier he can be. So takes no pity, takes no. Oh, I can't say what I want to say.
John's eyeing you down.
We haven't
Cut
spoiled anything
out
yet.
too much spoiler. And then so he's basically he's the best soldier of the boys. And then we got Seth, who was I don't know. Don't say anymore. Don't say anymore.
Every answer we're giving, we're like giving the slowest sentences, because inside our minds we're all like, okay, can't say this, can't say this, can't say this. Spoiler, nope, can't say that. We're on eggshells up here because it's so bloody exciting. I can't wait for you guys to see it.
Just basically, it's going to air April 18th.
Okay.
Newsflash.
And we want to keep you as much in the dark as possible, but get you really excited to watch it.
Okay, well, John, let me ask you something that maybe you can answer. When then did you decide that Mark was going to be a clown? And I mean, did you know from day one that you were going to introduce male clones into Orphan Black?
Well, we knew that male clones were an important part of the mystery.
Yeah.
But we didn't know who we wanted to be the male clone. There was let's say this. There was a couple of ideas early on that we didn't feel solid about. As Ari showed up in the cast, and we had this character of Mark was scheduled to be terminated. He was scheduled to die in episode 6 in season 2. Paul was going to kill him. It was going to be a kind of like, You know, instead of that, there's a bar scene where they actually meet up. The continuation of that is one dude, again, it was mano a mano, and Mark was going to be killed. But yes, but that, but then we saw Ari do all these scenes in like episode 4 and 5, and we're like, oh, he's so good. We really like him. We should keep him around. So we didn't kill him. We were like, no, let's keep him. It's good. Like it was actually the scene that really got me with Ari was there's this really like lovely little scene where he brings milk or juice or something to Gracie, who's had her lips sewn up, and she's, you know, it's this cute little nice scene, and I really thought it was lovely. It was a beautiful little scene.
So cute.
And I don't know, it made me feel like maybe he wasn't, that we shouldn't kill Mark, so. And then by the end of the season, we were still asking those questions, who's the male clone, who's the male clone, and we realized that actually the choice was sort of sitting right in front of us the whole time. And it was a really bold choice, but we knew it was the right one when it finally, and that's kind of how the show goes a lot of the time, in the way, trying to figure out the A to B's through the mystery is you know, you have the question, you know you need the answer for it, and in the room, constantly with the writers or with myself and Graham trying to figure out what the right answer is, and that's how the show gets built, you know. So that's how it happened. So we knew, honestly, we knew a couple episodes before you knew.
I'm happy how it worked out.
More questions from the floor? Oh, so many. Standing up at the back. Hello. Yeah.
My question is for John. I was just wondering, Beth, how much different do you think the series would have gone if Sarah had snapped out of her shock in time enough to save Beth from doing what she did?
Whoa.
Everybody hear that? Cool question. It's a great question.
What would have happened? I don't know. Maybe that would be just like a sitcom or something. It would be like sort of like a Seinfeld kind of thing. Maybe they would become roommates. I don't know. That would be like a 3-camera show in front of a live audience. No, you know what? It's hard to speculate. I mean, the one thing that I am that I'm extremely interested in, though, I love, like, because I put an awful lot of thought into Beth and into that character and into the mythology, like the things that led Beth to that point. And she's a fascinating character, and I'm very, fans have asked us, will there be any amount of prequel? Will we ever get a Beth episode? And that's something that I think Graham and I are really interested in at some point. I mean, I don't know when or how it's going to work exactly, but there's so much to do with you and Dylan, and just like that. It would be a fascinating little flashback episode if we could pull it off at some point. Okay? What do you think of that? Do you guys like that idea? Because Graham's always worried about like going back in time. He's like, we can't do a flashback episode. I'm like, are you kidding? Come on, man. I think the fans are gonna love that. I think we should totally do it. I'm trying to get them to do it. So if you guys can like support me with that.
There's also the episode where Donnie was a Calvin Klein model in his youth.
Okay.
Well, we got the doctor right here in the front row.
Yeah.
Doctor?
I became a fan of this show because of Doctor Who. What are you guys fans of?
The question was, what are they fans of? He became a fan because of Doctor Who.
There's a brilliant show called Peaky Blinders that everyone needs to check out.
We're talking about currently right now? Like, what are we fans of right now?
Yeah.
What am I a fan of right now? I mean,
That you're not in.
that I'm not in. Oh, absolutely not. No, I enjoy British things. So I've been watching Luther lately. It's fantastic, and there's sometimes little Lutherisms in art because it's just so damn good.
I'm a huge fan of Vikings because I am a Viking, so I have to watch the show. It's in my DNA. And I also loved Penny Dreadful.
Again, like Kevin, you took it from me. I was gonna say Luther. Like I watched it as soon as it came out, and actually watched every episode like as it came out. So huge fan of that show.
And John, do you have time to watch TV at all?
I'm currently watching nothing. We just wrapped season 3 at about 5 o'clock in the morning last Saturday.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm watching nothing. I've been recovering ever since then. I've been in a little coma for the last week. So you could ask me this like, I don't know, a couple weeks from now, maybe I'll be watching television again.
And did you direct that episode too?
I directed the finale, yes, yeah.
Was there a show growing up, John, that really kind of lit your wick creatively and got you thinking like, hey, I would like to create content myself?
Well, I'll tell you, as television changed in the last 10 years, the shows that really got me, because you know, this Orphan Black started as a feature film. Graham and I started working on it in 2001. But television changed, and the shows that got me excited to watch serialized television was shows like 6 Feet Under, The Sopranos, even like to get going, like Twin Peaks was like kind of one of the very first serialized shows that I remember going, what the hell was that? I got hooked in Lost, I got hooked in Prison Break, I got, these were all like the shows, Battlestar Galactica. For me was stuff that was like, that you would go, oh my God, it's 4 o'clock in the morning and I have to work tomorrow. Put on another episode. Like you can't stop. You like put newspaper up on your windows and you don't answer your phone. And that was kind of when suddenly I realized that binge watching television was really an exciting way to watch television, and I wanted Orphan Black to be that. I wanted to have the audience have that like feeling that and that thing that was like I can't stop, and so that was the kind of TV show that I wanted to make. So that,
You
did it! 5 minutes left, so we'll take 2 more from the floor and then we'll get out of here. Right there.
I've been wondering since season 1, are we ever going to see Gemma and Oscar and Kira having a play date?
Yeah! Getting all the kids together?
I think it would be adorable.
That does sound pretty awesome. John, you want to?
I don't know.
Daddy says it's okay.
Are you allergic to adorable?
It's a good idea. I'll keep it in mind, but currently, no.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, there's a good Sarah?
Yeah, Sarah.
Oh, hello, Kristian and Kevin. Thank you for favoriting my tweets in the last few Twitter messages. But my clone, my sestras, want to know if we can get a group photo.
Maybe at the end or something?
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah. And you gotta, do you all want to stand up though? So everybody can see you?
Get out of your chair.
All right, let's do 2 more quick questions from the floor. Who's got a nice punchy one? Hello, how are you?
Hi, fine, how are you?
Good, thanks.
I've been wondering since the very beginning of the show, are we ever going to learn who the actual people who were cloned in the first place were? Like the original DNA samples to make the girls and make the boys?
Good question.
And if that's going to happen anytime, maybe this season or by the end of the series?
That's obviously one of our big show questions, and that the answer to that is yes.
Oh, the question was how far are we going to go back to like reveal the original DNA, the original source of the clones, right? And that was John's answer. Yeah. Oh, there's a cloned Elvis in front. Who's got another one?
We're on the right in the, yep, you put both arms up. Yep.
So Tatiana has said that she has like a playlist to get to each character, and I'm wondering for Ari if you have some like music that you listen to.
Does Tatiana has playlists that she listens to get into character. Ari, same question. Do you have playlists that you listen to get into character for the different clones?
I mean, basically for me, the characters were revealed to me at the end of the season before we knew who they were. So it was it's sort of more of a visual in, and we've got some preparation. We've got a really great creative team with Key Bear, Sandy, and Key Makeup, Stephen, who, you know, they deserve more applause and more credit than they get, because they really help. I mean, especially for me, they really help differentiate and create those characters. So the short answer to that question is no, not a playlist, but basically to answer your question. I sit down in the chair, the scar, get the hair, get the mustache, get whatever, the costume on, and I look at myself, and then I kind of figure out who I am at that moment and where I need to go. I hope that answers your question. Yeah.
Let's give it up for the hairstylist, the makeup on.
We got to wrap it up so we can some giveaways. We're also going to do a draw for some of you are going to get, autographs afterwards. But I want to, the last question off the top, I asked each of you what you thought of your arcs in season 2. Obviously, if I ask you where we're going in season 3, you can't give us any spoilers. So John, I want to ask you, going through all the characters, what can you tell us about each of the characters up here on stage? What sort of acceptable tease can you give us about where we might go in season 3 without spoiling anything?
Okay.
And that's it.
Acceptable. Oh my god.
Good luck. Good luck.
Well, Donnie gets more badass.
Cool.
Scott, we see tons more of Scott in season 2. And we actually get to meet Scott's. We go to your house.
Yeah,
We get to meet Scott's cat.
Scott's got a cat?
What color cat? What color?
And Art, we've got a couple of big spoilers that I can't say.
Oh.
Art, the one thing I can say is that Art goes back on police force. And so that's cool. He's no longer on leave. But I can't say too much about you. And Ari...
Ari's recently.
I can't say anything about this. I don't know. You get to see him. You get to see lots of them. Yeah! Lots.
Does he give Jordan a run for his money and show his butt?
Yeah.
AJ Fry. Journalist.
Mostly if you're going to come on the show, if you're going to be an actor on the show, you kind of got to show your butt.
You got to show your butt.
Although you haven't showed your butt yet. Who hasn't showed? Oh, I haven't seen your butt either.
You don't want it.
Season 4.
This is the wrong trailer.
Season 4, you're right. Okay. Is that satisfactory?
That's awesome.
All right, we will stay tuned.
We have some giveaways. So first,
Priscilla
now,
Manning.
do not shout out the answer, guys. Just put your hand up.